Hello my dears, this is Sarah from SheHoldsDearly.com, and today we will be discussing a very fun topic. We're going to talk about common problems that husbands have with our decorating ideas and the things that we can do about them. So what sparked this whole topic today was I did a post a couple weeks ago on Instagram, and I showed a before and after of a kitchen where the cabinets were not painted, the wood cabinets were not painted. And people loved it. I got so many comments, and people started telling me the things that their husband was putting the kibosh on, things that he didn't want them to do, like paint their cabinets. And so I have this whole list of ideas from people off Instagram. And I actually wrote a blog post called Remodeling and Marriage years ago on just tactics that have helped us come to agreements when we're making all these decisions and just living in the inconvenience of DIY and the money stresses and those things. So the first part of this video is actually going to be some tricks that I've used in my own marriage. We've been married almost 24 years. And these are some things that have really helped us that we've learned. And then the second part of this video, I'm gonna actually visit the 4 most common issues that I hear from husbands and how I handle those as a decorator. So number 1, I'm just gonna tell you, like, most people cannot visualize. It's like a 4%, I don't know. I kind of made that up. I think that's right, maybe it's not right. It's a very small percentage of people that can actually visualize new ideas in spaces, okay? So it's a good chance that he can't understand what you're talking about when you come to him with these amazing ideas that you've been studying on Pinterest and, you know, seeing on HGTV. Show him pictures and see if that helps so that he can actually visualize why we would want to change the mantle and all the lighting and what that would mean for you guys. Another thing that I do is I really capitalize on birthdays and anniversaries and Christmas with the whole, like, what do you want for Christmas, like gift ideas. I always have something in the house I want done. So I'm turning 44 next month, and I want new window screens on all of our windows and some of the windows to be repaired that aren't opening correctly. And that's what I want. And it's probably kind of nice for him to have something that's like within his wheelhouse. And it isn't like some expensive girly thing. Like, I want something done on the house. And I know Ronald and Nancy Reagan used to do that for Christmas. They would always pick one room and then finish it, which honestly is a huge gift. That's really nice. So see if you can classify it as a gift idea when you get the right opportunity throughout the year. Another thing I see sometimes is that we ask too much of our husbands, and there's a lot of things that we could actually do ourselves, moving something or researching something or hanging something, so, or you know, painting or something like that. But if you can do it yourself, just do it and not add it to his list, and really save the things that just like, this is no way that I'm going to be able to get this done. Then go to him for that kind of stuff, or call a contractor. This we just started doing a few years ago. We started caveating our question of, do you like this, with on a scale of 1 to 10. How serious are you about your answer, your yes or your no? And the trick is, you can never lie or you ruin it, but that has solved, so far, that has solved all of our big, like, contentions we've had in the last 3 years about decorating. He'll say, I don't like that rug, and I'll say, but I love it. And he'll, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you not like that rug? And he'll be like, well, a 3. And I'll say, well, I love it on a scale of 10. And then he goes, oh, well, if it means that much to you, like, you should just get it. So that actually has been a little bit more advanced form of communication for us, and has really helped us. Proverbs 24, 3-4 says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. So this is definitely a time that we want to bring in wisdom and understanding, so that as we are trying to get our houses done, we're not just causing more strife, because that was never the point. We were supposed to be bringing beauty and peace into our space so that people can enjoy it, and arguing and fighting is not accomplishing that. Often with my husband, he'll say something like, I love that chair, please don't get rid of it. And I don't like the chair. And what has helped me understand him better is to say like, okay, break that down. Like, what is it that you like about the chair? And I'm thinking, how can I still meet that need? So maybe he likes that it has a headrest, or, you know, like how it like fits his lower back. So if we had a lumbar pillow in the chair that I want, then he would be fine. You know, so it's almost always about comfort and functionality. If they have comfort and functionality, they don't care what color it is or what decade it's from. So if we can protect the comfort and the functionality of the spaces that he's in, I think we can go a long way with our ideas. So let's look at a few things that are common issues with men. Like, we joke about it in my behind the scenes group. Number one is the recliner. Yes? So you know what I'm talking about. It's this guy with the padded arms and the padded footrest and the padded wings and the padded pillow. This thing, yes, it is comfortable. Like, if you can't see, it would be better. This one's a little awkward, yes. Like, I can't figure out how to work this one in. But this one is my very favorite. It's the double seater. You could actually, like, it could be romantic. Like, you could actually hold hands in the middle and have your little, like, glasses of wine in the cup holders. Yes, like, why would you want to get rid of this? Okay, let's talk about how far recliners have come in the last few years. This is a real cute one. Now, it's smaller, so that may be an issue with your husband, but you could try it. It's a cognac leather, which is a classic color. This is a real cute white one. Look at that. Like, how would you know that was a recliner? They've really streamlined their looks. I love this navy blue one from Macy's, and it has just that one single tufting right in the middle. I loved that. And then Pottery Barn has this fabric one, and look at all these options of fabric you could choose from. This is my favorite one. It's the striped one. That is just darling. Now, maybe it's not so much a recliner, but it's leather. I pulled a couple of pictures of beautiful living rooms with leather furniture in them. This one uses a lot of black and white, and I have a whole video on how to use black correctly and the different pieces that you want to add in a black and white room to keep it from getting dark and depressing. So here's a nice example of that. Here's another living room. I love the old books and vintage touches in this room from I Spy DIY. Now, maybe the shape of the chair is just fine, and I preach that over and over again. If the shape of something is right, if it's a chair or it's a vase or it's a lamp, you can change the color. Like, there's amazing products to change colors of basically anything. So if the shape of the chair is good and you just don't like the color, you could paint it. I love Angelus, and I will add the link in for you guys, but it is called Angelus. It goes on super like creamy and smooth and covers really well. It dries really fast. I am not above painting an entire couch to get the color right. And then if it's a problem where he's like, I just need like more like space, like all these little chairs I'm showing you are just too small for him. He needs more space, he needs something for his head. You might just want to forget the recliner and go with the chaise lounge, something like that. So he can really like lay back with lots of pillows and stuff. That can work. I ended up giving my husband a whole couch instead of the recliner. And it's got pillows and blankets and sheepskin rug on one side, and yeah, he's fine. All right, number 2, cabinets. Many husbands do not want their wives to paint their wood cabinets. They're oak or they're cherry or something. They're like, they're perfectly good wood. The problem is they're outdated. And that's not fun for a lot of women to be around. So I understand why women get fixated with, please let me paint these. If you are not able to paint them, what I suggest is maybe even sanding them down or stripping them, which is a beast of a project, but hey, if it makes your life that much more beautiful, you might wanna just get it done. He might go for that, like keeping the wood. Another thing you could do is just paint the island. And I'm including a picture here from Studio McGee where there are wood cabinets and just the island is painted white. You could just remove a couple of the upper cabinets and add in open shelving. That would really update the look. The most important thing I see is to replace the countertops. So if there's like a black granite, look at this amazing, this is the original blog post, the photos that started the whole thing over on Instagram. They are from Dawn Marie Designs. They are her before and afters, and she didn't paint her cabinets. She changed out her counters though. If you look closely, she has quartz counters. She did paint the walls, she did open shelving, she did a custom hood, and brought in like beautiful art and just some elegant pieces. She didn't even paint her island. That dusty blue color is staying there. So no, she didn't paint her cabinets, and yet it does not look outdated. So it's a really great example of what can be done. Another thing is if you have wood floors and wood cabinets, you want to kind of break up a contrast if they're the same color, and I would just use runners for that. All right, number 3, the rock fireplace. I had to include this picture because when I saw it, I like jumped. It scared me. It was so much. It's like, welcome to Great Wolf Lodge. The rock goes all the way along the bottom, all the way to the ceiling. Does not contrast with the ceiling at all. It is a lot of rock. So I hope you're not dealing with something like this. But the first thing I recommend is offering to the husband, could we just whitewash it? Can we just tone it down a little bit with the color? We'll keep the texture there. You'll see that it's still rock. And so this picture is really beautiful. Look at that coffee table. That is the one I showed you in the mid-century modern video. We just talked about that. So one of the things I really want you to notice with rock fireplaces that I recommend is that your furniture needs to go pretty modern. You want to create a contrast with that rock fireplace. So if you look at this picture, all the arms are real boxy, everything's up off the floor, a lot of mid-century modern flair going on there. And I feel like that creates a nice contrast with the rock. Here's another one, this is by Studio McGee. Real modern pieces, like if you look at the lamp and the coffee table, like real simple. You don't want to compete with too many textures or patterns because the rock is doing a lot of that. This is another example of, it's a really big room, but just see how the furniture is real light, it's real simple, real boxy. I love the soft blue in this picture. And the other direction I like to go with rock is just like, go with this whole like enchanted like cabin in the woods, like where Snow White would live, okay? So So you leave the rock and then you go ultra feminine to contrast with it. So very Victorian, so laced curtains and, tufted furniture and old books. And then you don't make it all Victorian. You come back and you also bring in some rustic elements. So maybe like some antique farm tools or some taxidermy even to create this masculine and feminine balance going on in there. That can look really good. I have a couple of Victorian houses to kind of show you what I mean. I couldn't find an interior that I want that really was saying it. So if you're confused by this, just don't listen to it. You can go the more modern direction if you want. But this house here has green. I actually would change it, the exterior, to a black or a white, just to not have it blend in so much with the trees. But look closely at like the chandelier and the furniture out on the balcony and how it's got a feminine, really feminine look to it, which is meshing nicely with the rock. What I would not do is go farmhouse. I'm sorry if you are watching this and you've gone farmhouse with your rock fireplace. I just don't see enough contrast there, and it just starts to make it look dated. So farmhouse is on its way out. So if your mantle looks like this, it's easy to change out, but that is something that I don't think works as well. And if he is really loving the rock, take a moment, just step back and be like, what is it that he loves about the rock? Is it because it's natural and like simple, and he's like loves it, it like speaks to the outdoors and kind of the wild, wilderness, and maybe some really fantastic painting of the mountains would fill that like need in him to make it feel outdoorsy or something. Look into some of beautiful paintings of the outdoors and see if he loves that. All right, number 4 is the huge TV. Now I wrote a blog post a ways back, but it was 10 ways to hide your TV. And this is my favorite one. This is actually one of my best friends and my next door neighbor. This is her house. She has a map that goes over her TV and I love it. That is a good option. I'll share with you 3 that I love for the big TV. So I recently heard on the Ballard Designs podcast, one of the designers guests on there said that you pretty much want to keep your TV size like mid 40s to mid 50s. As far as like inches, they measure on the diagonal. My husband thought that was absolutely ridiculous, and he was like, no way, the bigger the better. So he proved my point. This is a big deal. Like, if you're gonna watch the game, like, go big or go home, right? So if you're running into this, my suggestion is number one, the frame TV, which I love more and more. Here's an example of it. I mean, you can't even tell that that's a TV. That looks like a piece of art. Here's another angle of that. And you purchase whatever like digital artwork you want in there, and you can change it or whatever. This is a beautiful gallery wall. This is a very feminine version, but the black picture at the bottom with the flowers is a frame TV, and it's just mixed in. This is from Pretty in the Pines, from a blogger in New York. And then I love this one with the black and white photos, very masculine. I really like it. And it has, I think it's the record player down on the bottom is the actual TV, but look how cool that looks. And if you really want to be convincing about your frame TV being a work of art, I suggest adding art lighting from the top that hangs down. Okay, the second option, if you have the massive TV, is to find a super wide credenza to go underneath. And the low boys from mid-century modern style are really good for this. You want a piece of furniture under it that grounds it. You don't want anything smaller than the TV. So nice and wide, like even a foot on each side of the width of the TV. And thirdly, I suggest doing an accent wall, and you could add in some cool molding or something, but black accent walls are very on trend right now, and you just put your TV on there and that black rectangle just blends in and it does not dominate the space, no matter how big it is. So if I have a client that's, the husband's like, I have to have my 72-inch TV, we can talk about it, and then at some point I'm gonna play this card and say, okay, you get your TV and we choose everything else. And they like that a lot of times. So compromise is a real thing that has to happen when you're decorating with a husband, but it doesn't mean that it's not gonna end up beautiful. So one of the nicest compliments my husband ever gave me, I treasure it, he said, I don't know what it is that you do, but when you are done with a space, no matter how hectic it's been, I just wanna be in there. There's something that you understand and that you can pull off that makes it peaceful, and my quality of life goes up when you have finished the room. And I just think that is the best compliment. I hope that is what happens in your house, and that even though he may not understand what you're going for, that he appreciates it when it's all done. So here's to marriage and decorating, and to date nights at the home improvement store. All right, thanks you guys for watching. If you wanna join my behind the scenes group where we delve more in depth on this kind of stuff, there's a waitlist below. We're opening in the fall. I would love to see you there. And if you gained any hope or any knowledge, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already so that I can send you more videos on how to make interior design easy. And I will see you next week. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.